I'll tell you one thing that
Hey, when my girls start to trip and hate before escape, I call Sirius XM 98. Yeah, Thursday, Foxxhole 7 to 9 to talk to ZoWilliams before I lose my mind. Yo, I need advice on my relationship, cause I'm about to start breaking shit. I can't take it no more. I got to holler at Zo, the relationship pro. Before pack up and go, I got my foot out the door, and then for leaving. But first, let me holler at Zo, the voice of reason. I got one foot out the door, and then for leaving. But first, let me holler at Zo, the voice of reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, ZoWilliams Rising, the voice of reason in the building for yet another intriguing topic. I promise you, you need to get to your phone lines right now, 855-369-9898. Once again, that's 855-FOX-9898. It is imperative that you get to your phone lines because tonight is another heater, headbanger, fire topic. You've got to get involved. This is an informative show. Sometimes we make light of things. We don't want to make light of things, but sometimes there needs to be a little levity, especially when we bring topics like this. Cooties Need Love Too. Exposing the STD dating underworld. It's crazy. Just like eHarmony or Match.com or Zusk, there are websites out there in the world that cater to people with STDs who want to match up, who don't want to deal with the stigma. Now, understand this. No one has ever said dating was easy. In fact, many dreaded, having to disclose personal information about yourself to someone you desire, yet barely know. I mean, it could be absolutely nerve-wracking. Will they still want me if they see me again if I share my political views or my religious views or the number of children I have or if I'm financially challenged or something? For many on the dating scene, fears seem, like this, seem like a walk in the park, relative to tonight's topic. What if you had to tell someone that you were dating or someone that you were seeing for a while that you have a long-term or maybe even fatal venereal disease? 855-369-9898. Somebody call me right now. Follow me on Twitter at ZoMetheist. No, it's at ZoWilliams. At ZoWilliams. I need your tweets. I need your comments. I need everything. 855-369-9898. I mean, what if you had to disclose that? How would you disclose that? How would you share that? And what about the fear and all of the stuff that's wrapped around it? I mean, viruses and bacteria, they don't kill the intrinsic desire for human affection or attraction or communion. We all want to love and be loved, but where do people, or when people have, an incurable STD go? I mean, where do they go? You can't just go to a place where you don't know if someone doesn't have what you have. I mean, how do they connect? I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy topic. I really want you guys to call in right now, 855-369-9898. Tonight's show is going to be crazy. Cooties Need Love Too, an exploration into the STD dating world. When I come back, questions, callers, we're going in tonight. I'll talk to you in a minute. Deuces. Oh, God, those super freaks are awesome. But what if the super freak has a secret? A potentially deadly secret. 855-369-9898, tonight's topic. Voice of Reason, ZoWilliams Rising, Foxxhole Radio, Sirius XM 98, Foxxhole 98. Tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too. Exposing the STD dating underground. Let's do some questions. Have you been having safe sex with your partner without telling them about your incurable STD? Like really being like adamant about, no, condom now. No. But I want to feel you. We've been together long enough and I trust you now and not the kid. Strap it up. But we've been engaged for 3 years now. 855-369-9898. Somebody call me right now if you've ever. Are you a victim of genital espionage? Have you been having unprotected sex with your partner and keeping your STD a secret? Well, I'm not having a breakout. Huh? I'm supposed to be cool when there ain't no breakout. So as long as there's no breakout, I won't talk about it. 855-369-9898. Somebody get to your phone lines right now. Tell me what's cracking in your life. Do you have, because is it, I don't know. We got to get somebody on that has gone through this or experienced this, and we'll talk to them. We have a special guest coming on in a little bit. That's a tough question. I'll wait for our guest to come on. Have you ever been a victim of, have you found prescriptions for antibiotics or topical creams that your partner never mentioned using? Have you taken advantage of, and this is the thing that's really blowing me in the research that we've done for this particular show. There are websites out there, hdate.com, I think hmatch.com. We have a list of them. And stdmatch.com, positivesingles.com. Did I say hdate? Yeah, hdate.com. stdfriends.com. datingwithstds.com. I mean, is this a way to kind of contain the epidemics of STDs? 855-369-9898. Get to your phone lines. Let me know what's cracking in your life. You could share here. This is like the internet. You could be anonymous. Give us your favorite name. Benny Booyah from Kentucky. This is what went down with me. Tell us your story. 855-369-9898. When is the proper time to disclose that one has an incurable STD? Before or after the first time you have sex? Hey, let's not act like all human beings are just the nicest, most integrous people in the world. We're not. Deception and lies is a part of our life. And we lie in every aspect of our lives. We're selfish. We want what we want, and we will protect our inferior weaknesses that no one knows about because of our perfectly manicured appearance, so we can get what we want, right? 855-369-9898. When is the proper time, before or after? I say before, but who am I? I lie too. I don't know. 855-369-9898. Is an undisclosed STD the worst act of betrayal? Relationship treason. A relationship can be asked to endure? Is that the ultimate and final deal breaker? You gave me luggage that I can never depart with? Come on, that's serious, right? 855-369-9898. Somebody's got to call. We have to have these kind of conversations. A lot of people are afraid to sit down, discuss, go into it. It's important that we do it. Phone lines are going nuts right now. I'll be getting to you. I'll be getting to our special guest as well. Should we have, or listen to this, should we give in to the notion that at some point everyone will have contracted an incurable STD? Stats are saying 1 in 4 people in America. Herpes right off the top. HPV, human papillomavirus, on the rise. Syphilis, thought it would be gone, but it's not gone. It's still making a comeback. It's got more comeback in it than LL Cool J. I'm just saying. It's everywhere. How? I mean, is that the kind of notion we should just kind of give into? Oh, well, I don't have it today, but eventually I probably will, right? Somebody should call me right now. How many of you think Cookie Johnson's decision to stay with Magic was noble, reckless, selfish, foolish, or a sign of true love? Can true love still happen in a situation where one partner has an incurable STD and maybe gave it to his partner? I mean, I don't know. Somebody call me right now. These questions are crazy. I'm going to go to the phone lines. The lines are open. Have a good time. Let's talk about it. Let's share. That's the purpose of the platform. David, Canada, out to country. Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah, David, what's happening, man?
How are you, man?
I'm alive and well, brother. How are you?
Good. I've been just listening to your show, and I think I felt a victim before with a partner, and I don't know for other people, but the system that I have, I mean, my body-wise, if I get infected with any bad stuff, I get a reaction right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had stuff with this lady, and but 2 days after, I got a reaction on my skin somewhere, so I went for checkup, and because I'm very good at that, I went for a checkup, and doctor told me that I got some foreign stuff in my system. I'm like, what? So we did some blood tests, and he told me that I have some foreign STD infection. I was like, really?
Mm. What did they say you had?
Was a chlamydia, shit like that.
Chlamydia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, I immediately phoned the girl, and because I was going out with just the same girl, so I phoned her and I asked her. I said, "Some go in." I said, "I need you and I to go to a doctor and get for a checkup. See who's what's the problem." So she agreed, and I went there, and we did a blood test, and we found out she was the one that actually was carrying this stuff, and I didn't know. So, but we did everything. We took care of it, and it was good. So I think it's a very good idea for people or partners to actually inform their partners when they have something like that in the system, because if you just keep hiding it, and then you keep spreading it, it's just gonna get worse. So
David,
tell your partner and let things fix out.
David, let me ask you this, because you're calling from Canada. I got to get as much out of you as I can. Let me ask you: are you still with the young lady who gave you chlamydia?
No, that's been a while now.
So was it a deal breaker when you found out she gave you something?
No, I didn't really break up with her at the moment, because we went to a doctor and we took care of the whole thing, right? And something happened after that, about probably a month or two after, and then things didn't work out, so I just walked away.
Wow. Did you ever have sex with her again? That's what I want.
No, after that, nah.
Okay. All right. Hey, David, thanks for calling all the way from Canada. Appreciate it. 855-369-9898 is the number to dial. You listen to the Voice of Reason's Ometheus Rising. Phone lines are open. Tonight's topic, it's a tough one. Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the online STD dating underworld. Let's share. 855-369-9898. Phone lines are open. When I come back, I'm going to introduce my guest, and I'm taking more callers. Get to your phone lines. It's crazy. We're going to talk to you. Deuces. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we don't have open dialogue enough. Salt and pepper, I think they got it right. Let's talk about it. So many people are afraid to talk about things that they consider to be taboo. You know? Yeah, I mean, don't be afraid, man. Especially, fear is a debilitating force. It limits your life. It makes your life miserable, mediocre, and mundane. So why not open up and talk about the things that you're afraid of? Right? You'll be liberated. Let's talk about it. So tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the online STD dating underworld. It's a cold topic. 855-369-9898 is the number to dial, regardless of the monogamous title you may hold, or jump off, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it. Should new and old sex partners routinely check each other's status / papers? If so, how often? Or maybe, let's think of it in terms of this. Because humans are intrinsically liars, we're intrinsic liars, everything is an image, right? Right? Let's just be honest. Everything is an image to us. Everything is an ideal. That's how we interface. So, should even marriages just wear condoms? Long-term relations, we just got to stay strapped. Because at any moment, you could slip off the old wagon and be up in a situation where you're making a bad choice. Making poor choices is part of the human condition. And just because you're married and you guys had 10,000 doves at the wedding, and there was flowers and all types of beautification there, and the bridesmaid's dress matched your lapel, doesn't mean somebody's going to fall off. Should we always wear condoms in monogamous relationships? 855-369-9898. Let me bring in my special guest so she can get me off my soapbox and my rant. She's awesome. She's a doctor. Dr. Kelly Martin Schuh from D.C. is an Amazon best-selling author, speaker, and woman's wellness advocate. She has written 6 books about the holistic management and treatment of herpes. Dr. Kelly holds a bachelor's in psychology from the University of Colorado. Yes, we have heavy hitters here. 855-369-9898. Get on the phone. I need to talk to you. We need to talk to you. Dr. Kelly is here with us. She's going to talk to you. If you have issues, if you want to come out and share that maybe you got a little secret, maybe you can call us right now and let us know. Okay? As a doctor and a woman who has lived with herpes for 14 years, Dr. Kelly brings compassion, light, and a world of possibility to those who suffer from herpes. She is also the founder and CEO of Pink Tent, a virtual community where women connect and empower each other to fulfill their dreams of love, partnership, and optimal health. That's www.pinktent.com. Dr. Kelly, come on in here. Let's talk about it.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am alive and well. Talk to us about this topic. I know it's a little crass. Cooties need love too, but we had to get their attention.
Absolutely.
So talk to me. Why is it such a stigma? You know.
I think it's a big stigma because it's associated with sex, and people are really uncomfortable talking about sex.
Right. It's true. Let alone STDs and illness associated with sex. So what is your approach to the management and treatment of an STD? Let's go there.
Well, if you've been diagnosed, I prefer to manage it holistically, which means I work with the whole person. We look at how does a diagnosis of an STD impact you emotionally. I mean, it's absolutely devastating for most people. So not only do we work with the emotions behind it, but also holistically, what kind of vitamins and supplements could they add to their diet to improve their immunity? The improvement of the immunity is the number one thing a person can do. And then obviously there are STDs that require medical prescriptions. So I work in all of those areas.
Wow. Can you have an STD and not even know about it?
Absolutely. In fact, most people think herpes would have typical symptoms of itchiness and redness and those kinds of things, but 80 to 90% of people who have herpes don't even know that they have it. So herpes is just one example. Chlamydia is another one. For women, this particular STD is really scary because it can cause infertility and can affect a woman's reproductive health. So it's really important for sexually active people to get tested.
So go back. How can herpes affect a woman's reproductive health? Because a lot of people need to hear that.
No, actually, so the chlamydia is the infection that can affect fertility. Herpes actually does not affect fertility. Herpes is pretty much a skin condition that can be aggravating, but has a huge emotional component and stigma attached to it that people also need to work through.
Now, you've been living with herpes for 14 years. I mean, how did you get hit by that mountain and then find a way to climb and reach the top of it?
Well, 14 years ago, I was in my 20s, in my early 20s, and I was traveling in Nepal, and I was with somebody who did not know that they had herpes, and I got infected. So I was, however many thousands of miles away from home, really scared, and I went to the clinic and got tested. And even back then, I figured if something like this happened to me, maybe in the future I could learn something from it and help others. So it was many years of, there's a lot of scams out there, a lot of myths that I had to work through. And here I am today with a lot of knowledge and experience that I'm able to share with others.
Wow. Do you suggest that people with STDs only date other people with the same STD?
I think each person is an individual in the dating realm. I think it's wonderful that we have resources now that you actually mentioned earlier in the show, Positive Singles and some other websites where people can interact. My personal experience is I did not just date people that had an STD. When I met my now husband and told him that I had herpes, it wasn't a deal breaker. And I just didn't want to only date people with STDs. I wanted to make myself, open to date anyone that I wanted to. But some people do find themselves in a position where they're more comfortable dating someone with an STD, and I have no judgment either way. So it's whatever works for you.
Did your now husband have herpes when he came into the relationship, or he was free of any of that?
He did not. He had been to his doctor, and he didn't have any STDs, and he was willing to take this journey with me. I think that when we enter into partnership, we all bring a lot of things. I mean, for me, my burden was STD. It felt like it. But for other people, it could be coming into a relationship with things like alcoholism or other things in there, what you would say was in your dark closet.
Right.
So STDs are so common. Everyday people, they get them, and they're accepted by their partners.
Dr. Kelly, I love your candor and your openness and the way you share. Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. How can you protect your partner from getting an STD if you have one?
If you have one. So the number one rule is to first let them know that you have it. I think from not only a place of integrity to tell your partner is really important, but you need to know what you have specifically, and then things that you can do, specifically with herpes. If you have the herpes virus, you want to use condoms. You want to use personal lubricants that will help to decrease the transmission rates. So a lot of it's educating your partner, getting your partner tested, staying healthy, and not having sex when you have symptoms. And everyone needs to know that if you do have herpes, you can transmit the virus even when you don't have symptoms, although it's a much smaller transmission rate.
Wow. So let me ask you that question that I asked earlier. Should protected sex be standard practice even for long-term monogamous relationships in marriage?
I think that would probably be pretty utopian for some people, but I personally, I've not led my life that way. I very much trust my husband. We do not have an open relationship with other partners, so I very much trust that we're in a monogamous relationship. I guess if you wanted to be ultra sensitive, what am I trying to say? If you were to protect yourself, then you would use condoms every single time. But I don't think that's realistic. I really don't.
Wow. You don't understand how valuable this information is to us. Talk to us about Live, Love, and Thrive with Herpes, a holistic guide for women. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so that has been the culmination of my 14-year journey with herpes, and I cover so many things in this book. It's pretty much the guide to herpes. How do you protect your partner? How do you have the talk? What are things that you can do to supplement your diet so that you can not get outbreaks all the time?
Wow.
It's the best of my best work. So
wow.
We're
so
really
look,
excited to.
This is what we have to do really quickly, Dr. Kelly. We got to take a break, but when we come back, I want you to go over the top 10 triggers your doctor never told you.
All right.
Jesus. 855-369-9898. I'm going to callers when I come back as well. Callers, get to your phone lines right now. It's very important that you participate. We've got a doctor on the line. She knows what she's talking about, and we're going to cover this topic tonight. Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the online STD dating underworld. ZoWilliams, voice of reason. Hottest topics in the game. It's what we do. 855-369-9898. I'll be back in 2.2. If the sex is burning, is it still considered hot? Hot sex on a platter. Tribe Called Quest. Classic hip-hop. 855-369-9898 is the number to dial. We're having a good time here today. We have a great topic. We have a great guest, Dr. Kelly. She is on fire right now. She's the author of 6 books, 6 amazing books. Let's talk about a couple of them. She has one called Live, Love, and Thrive with Herpes, a holistic guide for women, a revolutionary approach to living with herpes, teaching women just how to deal with it. And deal with it from a holistic perspective. She's awesome. She's candid. She's open. And I don't want to say she's a survivor, but she is a survivor. She's tough, and she's gentle, and she's smart, and she's evolved because she's had herpes for 14 years. And she's made a life that transcends her illness, her condition, I should say. Talk to us, Dr. Kelly.
I'm right here.
We got callers on the line. Do you mind talking to a few people?
Oh, I love talking to callers.
Okay. Before I get to this caller, he called and he hung up, and I'm going to get him back because, I guess he's on the cell phone. Before I get to him real quick, can you run down the top 10 triggers your doctor never told you?
I can run them down. This will be a fast top 10. Best thing to do, though, is go to Amazon.com and you'll get the full mini book on the top 10 triggers. So here we go. Number 1, you are too stressed out. Stress affects outbreaks. Number 2, your diet is high in an amino acid called arginine. You want to learn all about that, and I teach you that in the book. You're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water. Number 4, you are too hot. Too hot in the gym, too hot in the sack. Friction and heat causes outbreaks. Wow. You are exercising too much or too intensely. Number 6, you have a hormonal imbalance if you are a woman. Number 7, your body is toxic. Number 8, you have a zinc imbalance. Number 9, it's your sexy time. There's some things in your condoms and spermicides called arginine that could be leading to outbreaks. And number 10, there's trauma that you've had in the pelvis.
Wow. 855-369-9898. We're going to callers right now. Dr. Kelly, let's talk to him, okay?
All right.
Purple Trucker, Maine. Holla at me.
Hey. Hi.
How you doing, man?
All right. This topic is amazing because I got a friend of mine that I've known for years, like 15, 16 years. We were sexually active, stopped about 10 years ago. We kept in contact. Now, recently I invited her on vacation. We got everything planned out. And just a couple of days ago, she tells me that she had herpes.
Okay.
All right. My thing is, I went and read up a little on it. My thing is, like I said, I'm a little uncomfortable about it. But, the fact that she told me and, we can work through it, I think. But what kind of advice can you give me, I guess? I'm trying to find out.
Dr. Kelly.
Well, first I have to say, you were obviously hanging out with the right kind of girl because she told you right up front. So kudos for her and kudos for you for being open to learn more about it. I think being educated is one of the number one things that you can do. So you need to really understand how is it transmitted. It's transmitted from skin-to-skin contact. There's some things that you can do. I'm not sure exactly where she has the genital herpes, and that's really important too. She could have it on her butt, or right, in any area in what we call the box or short region. So it's really a matter of where she has it will impact how it might be transmitted. But as long as you guys are using protection and the area that she normally gets outbreaks on is covered, you've done a lot of things to decrease the transmission. You want to keep your immunity high, but keep an open conversation around this so that she feels comfortable to let you know if she feels a little bit of tingling down there or a little bit of redness. You don't want to have sexual intercourse when she has any symptoms.
That's a great bit of advice. Thanks, Purple Trucker. We appreciate you for hanging in there, man. Jay from Washington, it's your time to chime.
Hey, how you
Talk
doing?
to me. What's up, man?
All right. So, Dr. Kelly, I'm someone that had a similar situation to you, I guess, as far as age, When I was about 21, I ended up with the same condition. But I wanted to ask you, what do you know about men that have yeast infections that are misdiagnosed as herpes? Have you heard anything about that?
It could definitely be misdiagnosed. In fact, a lot of doctors do misdiagnose herpes. Have you been to see the doctor, and that's what they told you, that you have a yeast infection?
No, it's all kind of like on my own. But I have a couple. My experience made me feel like, based on my research, that it was just a yeast infection.
I see. Okay.
Also, what I have a question about is also I saw some stuff online about herpes saying that it's actually a fungus that produces a virus, and it's associated with shingles, what they call the herpes zoster, and
Yeah.
Chickenpox, and what's the relation? And since everybody has chickenpox, or gets the vaccine that leads to chickenpox, is it in everybody's blood, basically?
That's a great question. So let's first address what is herpes. It is a virus. It's not a fungus. And herpes has 8 different members of what we call a family of viruses. And when we talk about genital herpes, we're talking about the herpes simplex virus. And when we're talking about chickenpox, we're talking about herpes zoster. So they're similar, but they're not the same. So your question is if I've had chickenpox, does that mean I have herpes? If you've had chickenpox, it means that you have the herpes zoster virus in your body, but it does not mean that you have the herpes simplex virus.
And the difference between the two is?
The difference between the two is just genetically, they're a little bit different. It's like having different members of a family. They're all similar, but they're not the same. So if you have chickenpox and have had that in the past, it doesn't mean that you have a sexually transmitted disease.
Is one worse than the other, or are they both incurable? Go deeper.
Yep, they're both incurable. Later, if a person's really stressed out or they're going through a tough time with their immunity, they can later in life produce something called shingles. And I want to correct myself. I said herpes zoster. Herpes zoster shingles. Varicella is the one that causes chickenpox. So basically, I know this is really confusing, but if you have chickenpox as a kid and you have symptoms later in life as an adult, it's then changed its name to shingles. It's the same virus.
Interesting. So really quickly, let me do this. If there's anybody out there who's actually joined one of these dating sites, stdmatch.net, stdsdating.com, stopswithus.com, datingwithstds.com, pozgroup, P-O-Z group.com, stdfriends.com, positivesingles.com. Call me. Share your story. Because I mean, and Doc, talk to me. What do you think? What do you think about, I mean, the Christians have their own online dating site. Regular, normal people, I guess secular people have eHarmony and Match.com. Do you think it's a good idea for there to be these type of sites?
Yes, though I think it's an excellent idea because there are some people when they're diagnosed, they might never be comfortable really having that conversation with someone who does not or they don't think has an STD. So it provides a safe place for people to share what their experience has been. But I don't think that it's for everybody. So I think it's a safe place for people that works for them, and I think it's wonderful to have those resources. That wasn't around 14 years ago in my early 20s.
Wow. Really quickly, we got a news break and a stat break here. Stats, 70 million people are living with STDs in the United States alone. Now, if you consider our population is a little over 300 million, 70 million of the 300 million living with STDs in the United States alone, as well as an estimated 400 million people worldwide. It's kind of heavy. Those are some big numbers right there. There are many online communities that cater to those who are infected. I just read those off. Also, we have some information here about gonorrhea. And they're saying the World Health Organization is warning medical providers around the world about the potential spread of a drug-resistant form of gonorrhea. The organism has basically been developing against every medication used to fight it. In a few years, there's the fear that the bacterium will no longer respond to treatment. And they're just saying, it's going to be a problem for everybody. This strand has so far been identified in Japan, United Kingdom, Australia, France, Sweden, Norway. Stay over there. Stay over there. I don't mean that. Just go away. Just go away. It is believed that there are undetected cases in other countries. I mean, you have something in your book that I want to talk about, and it's called The Talk. Mm-hmm. And I want you to get into it really deeply, but I got to take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to get active on The Talk. ZoWilliams, voice of reason. Cooties Need Love Too. We're doing it right now. Get to your phone lines, 855-369-9898. I'll be back with callers. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, would you be rocking the boat if you try to have the talk about the STD you've been hiding? 855-369-9898. Somebody better call me on this. Cooties Need Love Too. That's tonight's topic. It's a major movement underground. You might not see a commercial for hdate.com, positivesingles.com. You might not see a commercial. Might not hear it on the radio, except this channel. You know why? Because we're on the edge. That's where the voice of reason likes to live, right on the edge. And we have great guests and great callers who call in and share their stories. One of those great guests are here right now, Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly is in the building. She is the author of 6 books, and let me tell you what they are. Having the Talk. How to find intimacy after an STD, pregnancy, and herpes. Wow, that's crazy. What every woman needs to know. Preventing Herpes 101 is another book. The Healing Power of Forgiveness. How do you forgive someone for infecting you with an STD? Somebody call me right now, 855-3699. I ain't got no lightweights on the shelf. She's a heavy hitter. Knock you out with one book, but she's got 6 of them, so you're going to have to defend. Okay? Now, top 10 triggers your doctor never told you. And then the one that's coming out in September. Live, Love, and Thrive with Herpes. A holistic guide for women, and it's going to be released in September. Dr. Kelly, you're in the building?
I'm in the building.
You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Oh, let me hit them with some questions real quick, and then I'm going to get to DJ in Atlanta. Are prisons and penal institutions STD incubators? There's a lot of misnomers out there. Let's get informed. Have you recently become single and are afraid to jump back into the sexual world of singledom because of a fear that you may catch something or you may pass something on? 855-369-9898. Somebody get at me with the truth right now, because that's what I want to hear. Stats say that 1 in 5 Americans have herpes. Are you looking to hook up with someone that has your particular brand? HDate.com says, hey, if you got herpes and HPV, let's put the people with herpes and HPV together. You can look for those people if you like. 855-369-9898. It's a cold world out there, and we're living in it right now. Dr. Kelly, what is the first thing I need to do to engage in the talk? And then we're going right to DJ from Atlanta.
I think the first thing you need to do is get educated. You need to find out how it's transmitted. You don't need to become the expert, but you need to know where to send your potential partner so that they can get all the information.
That's good stuff. And then sit down. And, of course, the talk has to be non-judgmental. It has to be non-confrontational. But how do you avoid that? You know, the rumor was Chris Brown and Rihanna got into a fight because somebody gave somebody something that they can't get rid of. That was the rumor. It was floating all over the internet. Is that something that would spark a fight? Somebody call me right now, 855-369-9898. I mean, relationships are tough as it is. I mean, you can't front on that. It's tough as it is. Have you ever given your partner an STD? These are our questions. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions. Do you believe that, Dr. Kelly?
Do I believe
that we're not afraid to ask the tough questions?
Oh, we're not. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all. But there are a lot of people that fear stops them from intimacy. Either that, or they're out there being intimate and not telling people. And
wow.
It's just ethically, that's not fair. It's really not fair, and it's not right.
Down low. The down low is big. Are you someone who suffered from getting an STD because your dude was on the down low? Wow. 855-369-9898. DJ from Atlanta. Join the conversation.
Yeah. Zo, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
All right. I just had a question for, Dr. Kelly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to ask you about the herpes. Well, basically, I have a symptom. I don't know if it's herpes or not. I just want to run it by you. Let me see. I have 2 different kinds of bumps right? Okay, one bump is very itchy and red, and the other bump is itchy, but it has a clear, I guess you can say, pus or mucus in it. Does any of those sound like herpes?
They do, but what I can tell you is that there's no way I could diagnose you over the phone.
Right.
What you do is you need to go get tested, but you specifically need to ask for a test for herpes. Unfortunately, there are a lot of medical doctors out there that don't know how to tell the difference just by looking at the symptoms. And it can be really hard and challenging. So you need to go in, get tested for a panel of STDs, and specifically ask to be tested for herpes. But from what you're telling me, it's definitely a possibility.
Okay, so herpes, there are different kinds, right? So is there any other STD that might resemble herpes, or is it just,
Like, I think he's asking, what else could it be? If it isn't, hopefully it ain't herpes, but what else could it be?
Well, I mean, it does... It's called the Great Masquerader because it can show up and people kind of could think it was jock itch, or maybe they pulled their zipper up and kind of got caught, all kinds of things. But from what you're describing, it's classic symptoms, which are little tiny blisters that itch, and they have a little fluid in them.
Okay. One more question. Are they? Can you get herpes all over your body, or is it just in the genital region?
No, you can get herpes all over your body. It's wherever there's been skin-to-skin contact with somebody else that's had it. So, for example, wrestlers often get it because they have a lot of skin-to-skin contact, and they'll get it like on their hands sometimes.
What?
Also herpes. So it can be found anywhere on the body.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
That's great information. Hey, DJ, thanks for holding on. Appreciate it. Rob from ATL, you're in the building. Talk to us. Let's go.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. My question is this. Actually, I'm soon to get married, and I brought this up in conversations. I'm STD-free and always use condoms, always have. And, I hope this is relevant, but should you continue getting your STD tests when you're married and having unprotected sex with your wife?
I asked that question. Yes, man. I asked that question earlier. Go deeper.
I think it's a great idea, and it's a personal preference. I think it's smart. I think it's really smart because when it comes down to it, you've got to protect your own health, and it's definitely a smart thing to do. And I think it's a conversation for you to have with your partner.
Okay,
and
now, I totally agree that, it's a smart thing to do, but honestly, I'm 36. I've been single this entire time, and there's a part of me that obviously wants to. I've been very faithful getting them, my entire single life, but there's another part of me, of course, I'm married. I want to trust her, and I want to feel like, once you're outside of that remission period where, STDs can go unrecognized for X amount of time, once I'm outside of that and have been married longer than that, there's a battle within me where I wouldn't want to do it just because I feel like I'm betraying her trust.
And I was about to say, is this an issue of trust? That's where I was going to go, there.
Yep. If you ask me personally, my husband and I don't get tested. We've been together now for 3 years as a married couple, and our personal decision is not to go get tested. And there is a lot of trust in our marriage. So I really think it's a personal preference, but I do think that it brings up that element of trust.
Wow, yeah. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Hey, Rob, let me don't leave.
Yeah.
Don't leave. Because I want to touch on that trust issue, and I want to touch on, do you have these open conversations that Dr. Kelly encourages? Have you had the conversation with your wife? And if so, what was the process that you used to get understanding? Because there are millions of people listening right now that you might be able to spark something in them if you share your process.
Well, like I said, I get my tests all the time. So, I do have the conversations right now. Actually, I'm about to get engaged in a couple of days, so we're not married yet. But, right now, we've had the conversations just as a couple. Once marriage comes, I plan on having those conversations. But
you're not going to have the conversation before?
Oh, of course. of course. I mean, I think do you have to get screened when you get your marriage license? I don't know if that's a requirement, but either way, I was going to do it. I mean, we'll both go to the doctor's office, together, be screened in front of each other, exchange results, and then that'll spark the conversation before we get married.
Dr. Kelly, stay with us, Rob.
Yeah, I got you.
Dr. Kelly, what do you sense in this situation?
I sense that you're an upstanding man and that you're wanting to do the right thing. You're also wanting to trust your soon-to-be fiancé, so congratulations. That's a very exciting time in your life.
Thank you.
And so what I think is that I think it's a great idea that you both start out on a slate of understanding of where you are in your health right now. Go and both get tested. And as I said, I mean, some STDs, including herpes, doesn't necessarily have symptoms. So there's a possibility that your partner might have an STD that she doesn't know, and it's important for her to know so that you can manage it correctly and that it doesn't affect her health or your health. So I think starting off with getting educated with exactly where you both stand, and specifically you do need to ask for a herpes test. It is not included in a standard STD test.
Wow. Hey, let me do this, Rob, because we got to take a quick break. But let me do this. Let me end on this note. If either one of you is found out to be positive, is your relationship over?
Positive for what?
Of anything. Positive herpes, HPV, anything.
I mean, anything except for AIDS, I can say yes. If it is HIV, AIDS, that's going to be difficult. I can't even lie. I mean, I can't put myself in that frame of mind as quickly as this phone call we've got going.
Right.
And I would need to really be there to give you an honest answer.
That's all right. I appreciate it. This is what we do here. Thanks for the call. 855-369-9898. The phone lines are on fire. We got to take another quick break. When I come back, I promise. I'm taking everybody's call. Trust me. 855-369-9898. Cooties Need Love Too. A deeper look into the online STD dating underworld. We got a great author and co-host on with us right now, Dr. Kelly. She's cold-blooded. We'll be back at 2.2. ZoWilliams, voice of reason, Foxxhole Radio, Sirius XM 98. I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, Zometheus Rising, the voice of reason is back in the building, and I would love to love you, baby. But I'ma first need to see your paperwork. 855-369-9898 is the number to dial. Zometheus Rising, Sirius XM 98. You're listening to Foxxhole 98. The phone lines are wide open for you to contact me in regards to tonight's topic. Cooties Need Love Too. An exploration into the online STD dating underworld is crazy. Approximately 20 million Americans are currently infected with HPV. And another 6.2 million people become newly infected every year. At least 50% of sexually active men and women acquire genital HPV infection at some point in their lives. There are over 40 different types of HPV. Most of them are not symptomatic. They're asymptomatic. It just means they don't have any symptoms, and it's just a passing along. Push it along. Tribe Called Quest. Sometimes HPV can cause physical changes in the skin in the form of genital warts, but for the most part, HPV is not visible. HPV types are often referred to as low-risk wart-causing or high-risk cancer-causing, based on whether they put a person at risk for cancer or not. Cervical cancer in women is the most common cancer associated with HPV. Other HPV-related cancers include vulvar cancer, vaginal cancer, penile cancer, and anal cancer, but all are much less common than cervical cancer. HPV itself is untreatable. Listen to that. 855-369-9898. Somebody call me right now. Untreatable. That's, when I hear that's heavy. Usually, a healthy immune system will fight off HPV naturally. Diseases caused by HPV can be treated. Visible genital warts caused by HPV with medication. I mean, you can medicate some of it, I guess. I don't know. Somebody call me. I mean, tell me about your story. If you're on one of these dating sites, you should call me and share your story. I mean, it's kind of hard to read through some of the dates or some of the stats because it's really tough, because I know how people are. I'm just going to be honest. I know how people are. People are embarrassed. People are embarrassed because they ain't got the new Jordans. Imagine what happens if you get HPV or herpes. You not saying nothing. You trying to hide the backwards Nike swoosh on your shoe. I'm just being real. These kids, I mean, listen, I got a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, okay? And they be embarrassed for all kinds of things. How do we get this information to them? How do we get to that younger generation and say, hey, man, this is what you're facing when you start having sexual intercourse? How does the HPV, herpes, these websites, again, let me go back to these websites because they're amazing. Listen, hworks.com, hmates.com. How do we say, hey, man, this might be an option if you get something? Crazy stuff. 855-369-9898. Cooties Need Love Too. Bob, New Mexico, it's your time to chime.
Hi, great. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I'm on a cell phone, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Specifically, I wanted to inquire about when you get a cold sore on your mouth, what kind of herpes is that? Is that then transmittable to the genitals? Why is it that typically a cold sore will reappear in the same place? And then if you could also address the effect of acyclovir. Is acyclovir and Valtrex the same thing? And I've been informed by doctors that an acyclovir tablet every day could help, feign off the possibility of a recurring herpes virus. Can you address some of that, please?
Thank you, Bob. Dr. Kelly is in the building, author of 6 books. Dr. Kelly, can you address him?
Hi, Bob. So thanks so much for calling in. Cold sores, great question. They are caused by what's called the herpes simplex virus 1. There are 2 main types of herpes simplex virus, 1 and 2, and the one that causes cold sores is HSV1. So that should answer your first question. Second question, Bob, is why does it reappear in the same spot? And the reason being is the virus lives right near the spinal cord. And whenever you're stressed or maybe you've been exposed to sunshine or heat or things that aggravate it, it will hide out near the spinal cord until it gets aggravated, and then it'll travel back down the nerve to the place that you initially saw it. So the reason why it shows up in the same place is because it travels along the same nerve.
That is major fire. Dr. Kelly, I'm interested in understanding these kind of things, mainly because, as I mentioned earlier, I have young kids, and you mentioned the talk in some of your work. How do we have this conversation with these teens who are getting hyper active when it comes to sexuality? I mean, the sex that the kids are exposed to now at the ages that they are now, 12 to 15 or whatever. When I was 12 and 15, I wasn't really thinking in terms of the way these kids are thinking today. How do we have this kind of conversation? How do we, cross the bridge and get them to meet us halfway?
Well, that is a great question, and I'm a mother of soon to be a 2-year-old, so of course I've got some time on my hands to share this information with her, but I think we need to start early, and the kids are going to be uncomfortable because you're talking about sex. The last thing they want to do is talk about sex with mom or dad. So I think we need to start. We need to ask our children, questions, but start before it's too late. And the one thing I really want to share with the audience tonight is that cold sores, when someone is engaging in oral sex, cold sores then can transmit to become genital herpes.
That is the kind of information we need. Let me ask you about having a child that's only 2 years old, but you've been dealing and managing and maintaining the herpes condition for 14 years. How does someone who is pregnant, they might be listening right now, and they might be scared to death. How do they deal with that issue, with that emotional trauma, and how do they have a safe, healthy kid? 855-369-9898. Call me right now. Let's go. Dr. Kelly?
Yes. So pregnancy and herpes, when I was diagnosed in my early 20s, even though I wasn't ready to have a child, it was one of my greatest fears. Two fears. No one would ever love me, and that I could never bear children naturally. And what I'm here to tell women is that you can still have a natural childbirth. There are many, many women that are pregnant with herpes, and they give birth to a totally normal baby like I did. There's only 2% of the population that has herpes and then passes it on, potentially passes it on to their newborn. So really, if a woman knows that she's been diagnosed with herpes before she gets pregnant, her chances of passing it on to her baby are less than being struck by lightning. And I go over all of this in my book, Pregnancy and Herpes, what every woman needs to know, and it's available on Amazon.
But you know what? For most people believe that if you're pregnant and you have herpes and you don't have a C-section, the child is going to be blind, going to have herpes in his eyes. Most people believe that.
I know.
So let's talk about that misnomer really quickly.
Yeah, I think that our society is run a lot by fear. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. You think of the most extreme condition of a baby contracting genital herpes. In the most extreme case, it might result in death. And that is such a small percent. I think it's like 0.0003% chance of that happening. Most likely, if in fact the herpes virus is going to be transmitted to the baby, it will be transmitted just like maybe a little skin rash on the point of presentation where they're traveling through the vaginal canal. So maybe like on their scalp, just like a little skin condition.
Now, with the skin condition. But with the skin condition, would that skin condition be a permanent skin condition? Would it be an incurable situation?
Yes, it would be incurable, but it's very effectively managed. And, for example, if you had that herpes on the head, it's kind of like the cold sore. It will hide out in your body, and it might show up here and then, but again, it's really rare that happens. Rarely do we hear that happening. And so I really encourage women. I work with them, giving them the facts. And the book, as I said, is a great resource. I cover a lot of material, giving them facts, because I think facts can empower us.
Right. And what's the name of the book once again?
Yep. The name of the book is Pregnancy and Herpes, What Every Woman Needs to Know. And it's on Amazon.com.
And do me a favor really quickly, because we've been calling you Dr. Kelly.
Yes.
I want you to give out your actual name so people can find you.
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Kelly Martin Schuh, and it's spelled really funny. It's SCHUH. Dr. Kelly Martin Schuh. All my patients call me Dr. Kelly because it's just easier.
Yeah, it is easy, because I was struggling over here a moment ago. Like, what is the last name? What does it mean?
Right, exactly.
Right. What STDs do prevent normal childbirth? Is there an STD out there that would be problematic for normal childbirth? What would that be?
I know that HPV and chlamydia can affect fertility. Hopefully, if a woman is pregnant, that she is getting care, she's seeking care from a medical professional. And when they do that, that's one of the first things they do is if she's been sexually active, they're going to run all kinds of different tests and manage anything that shows up. And
I want to talk about the quality of life. Because a lot of times, when somebody gets an incurable disease, especially STD, they feel like my life is done. It's over. Can we talk about quality of life and life after, an STD?
Yeah, I think that life after an STD, one of my inspirations has been my personal journey of 14 years, having contracted it 14 years ago and where I am now. I'm so fortunate and so blessed. I have an amazing husband and a baby girl, and to inspire other men and women to know that there is life after diagnosis, and to remember that this infection is so common. It's underdiagnosed, so the numbers that we looked at are very small in comparison to what the reality is. And it leads us to question things like, well, how would you manage something like diabetes, which also is, quote, incurable? There are other incurables that we just learn how to manage, and it doesn't become a major part of our lives anymore.
What I'm starting to feel from you is it's really not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It really isn't.
I mean, listen, do you know how powerful of an idea, of a concept that is? It's really not a big deal. It's almost like saying, we're all going to die from something.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a caller. Let's go to our caller. Lisa is on the line right now. Let's do this, man. This is so awesome. No, I believe in powerful ideas. I believe in powerful concepts. You're going to die from something, right? Let's talk to Lisa. Lisa? Is she there? Come on, Lisa. I see her number. We got callers on the line, but the callers are dropping for some reason. It's going crazy. I don't know what's going on. 855-369-9898. That's the number to dial. We got the phone lines are jammed, but it's crazy. And they keep coming and dropping. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Let me go back to Dr. Oh, we got to go to a break? Okay. My producer, I want to keep having a conversation. And then we'll come back. Okay, we got to take another break. Oh, God. Dr. Kelly, I'm having a ball. This information is really mind-blowing and it's life-changing. When we come back, we're going to go back to the callers. The callers are online. I'm looking at hundreds of callers right now, and it's crazy. We'll be back at 2.2. ZoWilliams, Voice of Reason, Foxxhole Radio. 855-369-9898 is the number to dial. Tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too. Me and Dr. Kelly will return in 2.2 seconds. I'll be back. Cooties Need Love Too is our topic tonight. It's an expose into the online underground STD dating scene, and apparently it's huge. Have you been having safe sex with your partner without telling them about your STD? You're insistent on keeping a condom on, but you're not insistent on revealing the truth about your condition. 855-369-9898. That's the number to dial. Do you attempt to hide your herpes flare-ups or genital warts so you can continue to have sex with your partners? The image of normalcy is a very powerful and seducing thing. Seductive. 855-369-9898. That's the number to dial. Cooties Need Love Too. Call me right now. Have you ever been a victim of venereal deception? Did you contract or discover your partner's secret STD? I'm ZoWilliams, Zometheus Rising, the voice of reason. Call me right now, 855-369-9898. Lisa, you're in the building with me and Dr. Kelly, Martin Schuh. Let's go, Lisa.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, this is Lisa.
How are you, Lisa?
Hi, I'm calling in because I was listening, and I was diagnosed with herpes 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I am one who does share with my partners that I have herpes. And I guess I'm just calling in to encourage those people out there who may be listening that have it and don't share it, to share it with partners or possible partners. I just feel like it's important to let people know. I know that they say that you can have herpes for a very long time and not know it. But I think I have a very good idea of where I got it from. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't told. Mm-hmm. So part of my thinking in telling people is that I don't want them to feel deceived, and I think it's unfair to be put in a situation and not know 100% what's going on because your partner isn't upfront about it.
Wow. Let me just say, Lisa, you have made the show, because this is the type of interaction we want. Someone who is obviously struggling with it, trying to deal with it, but at the same time being bigger than the condition by reaching out and sharing. Dr. Kelly Martin, can you talk to her, please?
Yes, Lisa. I want to start by just saying, congratulations for having the strength and the courage to pick up the phone and share with the audience. There are a lot of people that are hearing you tonight, and you have made a difference in their lives. So, with that said, what has your experience been like in sharing with potential partners? Has it been a good experience, a bad experience? What's your experience been?
Well, I have to say that I haven't gotten any negative reactions from anybody. It's all been very respectful. If anything, they respect me more because I tell them.
Yeah.
I will say that sometimes it makes me question when people are so willingly accepting of it. I wonder if they're being honest and upfront. I don't want to be hypocritical and say, I want to be thankful that people are accepting, but at the same time, it makes me question whether or not they're as honest as I am. But all in all, it's been I guess it's been as positive as it can be.
That's great. That's great to hear, and I can tell you my personal experience was a very positive experience with the people that I told, and most people that I talk to, the majority of these talks go really, really well. And I can understand your concern is when they accept you so fast, you do wonder if there's something that they're not sharing. And I think this is an important lesson for everyone to know that when we disclose that we are infected with an STD, it is an opportunity for that other person to share what their background has been. I mean, we need to protect ourselves, too, of what they might bring to the table.
Right, disclosure reciprocity. If I disclose, you should disclose, and that actually tightens the bond between people. If I'm sharing something with you that's really heartfelt and meaningful to me, I think it's a human kind of, a natural human thing for me to say, damn, she shared something really meaningful about herself, and it draws me into her and makes me feel less, frightened to do the same, So I just want to say, Lisa, you're the star of this show tonight, and I thank you for being a soldier for your situation. And I'm sure Kelly feels the same way as I do, right, Kelly?
I do, absolutely. We need more people that can stand in their power. So you did a wonderful thing tonight, calling in and taking the stand for all the people out there that are so fearful to share their diagnosis.
And not, listen, follow ZoWilliams at ZoWilliams. Leave all your questions, all your comments on my Twitter page. And we have to keep this dialogue open, and we have to keep this conversation going. I want people to go out and represent Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly, do you have a website?
I do. It's pinktent.com. So www.pinktent.com. It's a place women can share their stories. I'll be announcing my book that'll come out in September, Live, Love, and Thrive. And if you enter your email as a gift to you, I'll send you immediately the first chapter of my book that's been completed, and just keep you in the loop, keep the conversation going. I want to be here to support the audience.
Now, tell us what Pink Tent actually means.
So Pink Tent for me was kind of the brainchild of going through and writing this book and really realizing that I wanted the conversation to go beyond the book, a place for women to gather and get inspired and to share their stories. My vision as we move in the future is for it to be a big platform for women's health, for questions and answers about love and partnership and optimal health, really a sacred place for women to ask questions and be heard.
Wow. This is good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, this is ZoWilliams, the voice of reason. We have had a very, very intriguing, entertaining, and meaningful conversation that really needs to continue long after this show is over, because rising STD rates are sparking online dating sites. I mean, people need to understand that, because once you have something like this, there is a certain level of emotional trauma that is attached to it. And whenever there's emotional trauma, automatically, what do we need, Dr. Kelly? Support, right? In some kind of way, right?
We do need support. Yep.
Right.
We need to be inspired that we're not all alone. I think that it's really important for people to know that many, 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 many people contract STDs every day. You're not all alone.
Wow, wow. In 2007, news report, in 2007, the growing number of people in similar situations has created a new industry, internet dating sites just for people with STDs. From mpwh.com to stdmatch.net, websites abound for the infected who want to date the infected. The statistics help explain why the trend emerged. By 2007, 1 in 4 women, right, is infected with genital herpes. And nearly 1 in 5 men, according to the Center of Disease Control in Atlanta and Prevention, genital herpes is there. So that's HPV. Okay. A study that same year in the Journal of the American Medical Association finds that 1 in 4 women has human papilloma virus, which can cause genital warts and cervical cancer. That was a tongue twister right there. Cervical. Anyway, a big part of STD internet groups is social outings. One site, h2ofriends.com, lists events for people with herpes in some 40 cities, from San Francisco to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. These sites and outings not only help those infected with STDs find romantic relationships, but support and friendship. So it's a big movement, man. Jay from Georgia, you need to chime in. Let's go.
What's up, though? I love your show, brother. You touch on so many points with this situation, man. I've been listening all night.
Thank you.
My wife and I, we've been married for 25 years. And before we married, we were high school sweethearts. And she actually got it and gave it to me. We were young, hot and heavy, both messing around, just having a good time, being out in the life, just doing whatever. And, she gave it to me, and I didn't know about it. Maybe to like 2 to 3 years later down the line. And I struggled with having to accept that's how I got it. And throughout our marriage, it's been great. She's been a great wife. She's been everything I needed. But it's been very hard to accept. And sometimes that, I got to deal with this for the rest of my life, even though it was the way it happened. That bothers me from time to time, but, here and there, it comes up in conversation whenever, the subject of sex come up with dealing with, certain situations that can sometimes, get a little confusing.
Right. Do you guys have any children?
Yes, we have 2 beautiful children. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they was born through C-section, so they don't have any issues with what I was speaking about earlier about women that have, vaginal deliveries or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But it has been a hard thing to accept from a young man, and now I'm older, and we've been living with this together all this time. And sometimes you question yourself, you sell yourself short by staying with the person because you got it.
So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this, Jay. I want you to get some wisdom from Dr. Schuh. Just come on in, Dr. Kelly, and tell him about forgiveness.
Right, Jay, thank you so much for sharing. And, once we're infected with herpes, they're sure out there. So one of the best things that you can do for yourself is, first of all, if you can, forgive your wife. I'm not sure what the situation was like. Did she know? Did she not know? Either way, it will affect your healing. And I do have a book called The Healing Power of Forgiveness. How do you forgive someone infecting you with an STD? And I think that it's really important in the journey to learn to forgive the person that gave us to us. Even in situations where that person knew that they had herpes. That's tough. But it does become, I think, almost I dare to say spiritual practice, because some people aren't spiritual. For me, it was a spiritual practice. Also learning to forgive myself. Did I make mistakes? So you might need to forgive yourself if you've been beating yourself up over all these years.
Right. So let me ask you this that's great information. Let me ask you this quick question. Can HPV be misdiagnosed? Can it be diagnosed as HPV and then later, no, it's not HPV? Go deeper.
No. Once you've been diagnosed with HPV, I mean, you do pretty much, in fact, have HPV. The good news is that most HPV is taken care of by the body. Our immune system is strong enough that it's able to fight it off. So, it also is another
that was great.
STD.
That was great. We got to wrap it. Tonight's topic, we just touched on the tip of the iceberg. I just want to thank Dr. Kelly Martin Schuh for coming on, staying the whole show, sharing all of her information. You got to go support her. She's got information that can transform your lives, and that's what this show is about. You want your lives transformed, you want to be entertained, you want to be inspired. Well, this is the place. Thursday night, ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, Foxxhole Radio, Sirius XM 98. I will be back next week. Dr. Kelly Martin, follow me on Twitter. Let's be friends. I appreciate what you do. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right, there it is. I'll see you guys next week. We outie. Deuces.